Welcome to the Hamsey Analytics Daily Market Commentary. I'm Paulo Navarro. Today is Thursday, October 11, 2012. For the market internals, the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline differential closed at 780. Nasdaq advanced decline differential closed at 491. We had 14 new 52-week highs for the S&P 500 and 3 new 52-week lows for the S&P 500. For the volatility, 362,000 contracts traded on the VIX today, with 55 million in total premiums paid. For the dollar-weighted put-call ratio in October, we saw a 5.0 reading with 24% of the total premiums paid, which is very bullish. For November, a 0.20, which is bearish, with 17% of the total premiums paid. December, 0.27, which is bearish, with 15% of the total premiums paid. In January, a 0.21, which is bearish, with 16% of the total premiums paid. And in February, a 4.4, which is bullish, with 16% of the total premiums paid. You could see here we did not have concentration on 1 month like we usually have, so it was a spread throughout the month here on the dollar-weighted put-call ratio. Here we have the daily chart for SPX. We have a flat day, but this is worth mentioning. We were up 10 handles in the morning. You can see here this huge week we had here. We sold off intraday pretty hard. We're going to see the intraday chart in a minute, and we continue to be at -2 sigma. Very negative reaction here on the market. Sold off the rally intraday and closing at the lows of the day. Not good here overall. CI low pointing lower and CI diff pointing lower also. Here on the continue to be on the daily chart, and here we have the 50-day moving average and our previous top here. We talked about this yesterday. We had this top made in March, April, and here we have it in line with the 50-day moving average, and also with that now support here. That's going to be very important. We have not yet taken out the lows here we made last week, but we're pretty close to it. We need to see maybe come and test this 1427, 1425 level and try to get a bounce from here. If we do not get a bounce, it's going to get bearish from here and maybe looking at 1400 and even for 1385, but first 1400. So let's go one by one. 1425, 1427. That's going to be a very important level to hold here on SPX daily chart. We're going to have to watch here what happens. And tomorrow we have two big earning announcements from the big banks, Wells Fargo and JP Morgan in the morning. So we'll have to see how they shape up earnings tomorrow. Now let's go here and let's look at the 60-minute chart. And let's shrink it a little so you can see here how we started selling off here. We opened up higher, we could see it here. Opened up higher at support number 1 on the weekly, support pivot and resistance 1442, and after that we just started selling off. Every hour selling off, finishing at the lows of the day, which was not positive at all. We're looking now at this 1425 level. We wanted to hold. It's going to be critical here for this level to hold on SPX. Now let's go to SPY and let's look at the targets here. Here we have the SPY. We were basically flat, 0.13% up for the day, finishing almost at the lows of the day. And we're looking for 142.4. That's going to be the last level we want to watch here on the downside. 50-day moving average, we are right now there. 143 is the 50-day moving average. That's going to be critical. And we also want to look at 142.21. This was the high here. This is going to be critical also to hold, maybe break that 50-day moving average intraday, touch that 142.21 and bounce back, closing higher above both of them. That would be maybe some type of a bounce here. We're getting after this big sell-off a couple of days we had already. We've been being sold off pretty hard on the last week or so. For the Qs, here we start with the daily chart. This is the Nasdaq ETF. This was down 0.27%. Of course, Apple having a huge weight on it, dropping from being up 1% Two over, down 1%. Apple, huge move. We're gonna see that chart in a second. But here we have this ETF. You could see it here. We took out yesterday's lows, and now maybe looking for 66 level, 65.70. That's gonna be another level to watch here. The 100-day moving average and the 150-day moving average. Very important. Very bearish chart here on the Nasdaq. Of course, we are short-term oversold on the Nasdaq ETF. We talked about this yesterday. And now let's look at here. 66.46. That's gonna be our weekly support number 3. That's gonna be that 30% from here. We're gonna watch what happens tomorrow. And let's look here at the Sigma chart. We have an outside day reversal from the Qs. Very bearish here. And we are crossing the -2 sigma. We're looking for 65.67. That is -3 sigma. We are a little bit oversold here at this level. Now let's go to IWM. IWM, here we have it up 0.36%, not as bad as one would think. This is the risk on, risk off ETF from the Russell 2000. We continue to be on the +1, +2 sigma, no, -1, -2 sigma channel, and maybe looking for 81.94. That's gonna be our target here. And yesterday we talked about maybe closing below the level we've been watching here for a long time. At the level we wanted some confirmation. That confirmation did not happen today, despite the sell-off we had. We went up in the morning and sold off, but even then we did not cross those two levels. We're watching for this 82.46 and 82.50s. Those are going to be the levels to watch here. We do not want to close the week below that. That would be very bearish, and that would point us to the 200-day moving average of 82.08. This is for the Russell 2000 ETF. Let's go to GLD. Here we have the GLD daily chart up 0.26%. We continue to find some consolidation around this 171 period. We've been trading a long time here. You could see it. We take this out a couple of days, but we could see here this looks like a flag here. A couple of failed breakouts. 1 here, 2, 3, and failed breakdowns. 1 and 2. So we continue to be on this tight range, 171, 173, 80. We can call it that, and maybe we're looking for a bounce either to the downside or to the upside. From here it would look like it would be to the downside. We're below the 20-day moving average, but gold has a lot of upward pressure from here because of the QE3. We talked about that earlier. On this chart we can see here daily chart for GLD. Sigma channels are getting very compressed. Last time that happened, you remember, we got a very nice breakout here. So maybe start watching. I think we could have a couple more, a week or more on these levels, and then we could be ready to rally. So keep an eye on GLD from next week on. VIX. Here we have the daily chart for the VIX, and today we have a down 4.3% for the VIX. This is weird after the big sell-off we had in the morning. We almost finished at the highs of the day, but you can see here the drop from yesterday to today here. Very big drop, 4.3%, despite the big sell-off we had in the market, although we ended basically flat, but you could feel how much it was selling off intraday the market overall. From here we're looking maybe at 1420, and if not, maybe a bounce of the 0.6 to the 17 or 18.10 level, the 200-day moving average, and from then we would want another bounce back lower and fail to break that to the upside. So that's for the VIX here, and we told I was going to look at Apple, so let's look at it. What happened today in Apple? Very important. Outside day reversal in Apple to the downside. We are at -2 sigma. This is pretty bearish here for Apple. Looks like we are trying to go lower from here, but one thing that has some support here, we look at this chart on Apple, we could clearly see this perfect support here, from here to here. Sorry, from here to here, perfect support. in Apple, and we just can say that the Apple could be going here to its 100-day moving average. That's gonna be support 622. It held Monday. Yesterday we rallied, and today we have a big sell-off after being up 1% in the morning, finishing down almost 2%, 1.9. Pretty bearish chart here. So the 622 must hold. If that not hold, we might be looking at fairly lower prices here. So from here we're gonna watch Apple to see what happens from here on. We have a special offer by TradeStation. Get your Hemsley Analytics proprietary indicators paid by TradeStation. Contact Active Traders office in Chicago, Peter Albino, at the number listed below. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.